What if Dubai's beloved crown prince, Sheikh Hamdan, wasn't living the flawless royal life everyone imagines, but was secretly caught in a hidden power struggle involving a past marriage, an IVF heir, and a mysterious adopted child? Before we dive in, hit subscribe and like, and unlock the palace gates with one click. Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum isn't just the crown prince of Dubai. He's the rare royal who feels like a modern-day action hero living inside a palace. Ever since he took the title in 2008, Hamdan has captured the world's imagination, not with stiff royal formality, but with this electrifying mix of charm, mystery, and pure adrenaline. Imagine a prince worth nearly $2 billion with sprawling mansions and massive investments across Dubai's most luxurious developments, who then casually throws himself out of planes, dives with sharks, spearfishes in the deep, ziplines across skyscrapers, and literally climbs the Burj Khalifa like it's his personal jungle gym. Know what's the wildest part? He records half of it himself. That's why Sheikh Hamdan isn't just respected, he's followed. Millions across Instagram, X, and Facebook treat his feed like a cinematic universe. One day he's racing camels. The next he's on a mountain in Iceland. The next he's posting a poem. Yes, a poem under his cultural pen name Faza. Those verses aren't just pretty words. They follow the traditional Nabati style and carry the emotions, hopes, and identity of the Emirati people. In a region where royalty is often distant, Hamdan somehow feels relatable. But for all the posts, all the adventures, all the glimpses into his life, the man still manages to stay wrapped in mystery. He gives the world just enough to admire him, his philanthropy, his leadership, his generosity. Yet, he guards his private world with the precision of someone who knows that the more he keeps hidden, the more the world wants to know. And that's exactly why Sheikh Hamdan remains one of the most fascinating royals alive today. But to really understand why Sheikh Hamdan's personal life draws so much attention, you have to step back, way back to the roots of the dynasty he comes from. The House of Maktoum isn't just a royal family. It's a ruling legacy that has shaped Dubai since 1833, leading it from a quiet fishing settlement into one of the most futuristic cities on Earth. For nearly 2 centuries, the Maktoums have ruled with a blend of tradition, tribal alliances, and a fierce commitment to preserving their lineage. Their bloodline traces back to the powerful Bani Yas Tribal Confederation, a group whose influence helped stabilize the entire region long before Dubai had skyscrapers or supercars. At the center of the modern chapter of this dynasty stands Sheikh Hamdan's father, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, a leader whose vision is practically responsible for the Dubai we know today. Skyscrapers, artificial islands, global tourism, and technological ambition, his fingerprints are everywhere. But just as important as his public achievements is his private life, which has always been followed by the unwritten rules of royal tradition. Sheikh Mohammed's marriages, 6 officially acknowledged, and other long discussed in regional circles, weren't glamorous love stories written for tabloids. They were strategic alliances, political bridges, tribal ties, a system where marriage wasn't just personal, it was part of governance. These unions often connected branches of the same family or joined powerful households to the Maktoums, ensuring loyalty and unity. For generations, arranged marriages weren't just expected, they were essential. And with that system came everything you'd imagine behind palace walls: quiet rivalries, unspoken hierarchies, and the kind of subtle power games that never make headlines but shape the future of the entire emirate. This is the world Sheikh Hamdan was born into, a world where love, legacy, and leadership are tightly intertwined, a world where every marriage has meaning, every child has significance, and every decision behind closed doors can ripple outward into the entire country. And when you realize the weight of this history, the fascination with Hamdan's own marriage, children, and the mysteries around them suddenly makes perfect sense. And within this world of power and tradition, 2019 became the year everything shifted. After years of whispers, predictions, and global curiosity, Sheikh Hamdan's marriage finally became official, and the way it happened was almost cinematic. Because can you believe it? The crown prince didn't marry alone. On May 15, 2019, in one private Islamic ceremony, 3 royal brothers, Hamdan, Maktoum, and Ahmed, got married on the same day. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly how the Maktoum dynasty sends a message: unity, stability, and a future being perfectly lined up. And then came the part Dubai still talks about. On June 6th, the wedding reception at the Dubai World Trade Center transformed the entire venue into a golden dream, pale gold and cream everywhere, perfectly matching the royal attire of the newlyweds. The guest list? Basically a roll call of the UAE's most powerful leaders, including the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. It wasn't just a wedding, it was a national moment, a royal announcement that the next generation of Dubai's ruling family was officially stepping into place. And honestly, with 3 princes marry on the same day, isn't that the kind of story only royalty could pull off? Even Dubai's Zabil Palace turned into a glowing landmark, lit up like a giant celebration torch. For ordinary people, it felt magical. For the royal family, it was tradition in motion, another carefully chosen marriage within the extended Al Maktoum family, protecting the purity of the bloodline and strengthening centuries-old alliances. And you might not expect this, but these unions are never just about romance. They're about the future of an entire emirate. Then came the moment that made global headlines: the birth of Sheikh Hamdan's twins, Rashid and Sheikha. And the celebrations? Oh, Dubai went all out. Children who shared the twins' names were granted free entry to parks and resorts. The whole city felt like it was celebrating their arrival. And here's the part people still love talking about. Will Smith sent Aladdin gifts to the Crown Prince. Yes, Hollywood literally joined the royal celebration. Can you imagine? It was the perfect fusion of old traditions wrapped in global excitement, a royal family staying rooted in heritage while the entire world watched. And yet, even with all the lights, the posts, and the festivities, the palace kept that quiet, mysterious aura. Because with the Maktoums, even in the biggest moments, there is always just enough secrecy to make you wonder, what really goes on behind those golden gates? But just when the world thought it understood Sheikh Hamdan's perfectly polished royal life, whispers began to surface. Whispers that hinted at a story far more emotional, far more human, and far more heartbreaking than anything seen in palace photographs. Because, can you believe it? Long before the grand 2019 wedding, Sheikh Hamdan was reportedly in a deeply committed, almost decade-long relationship with a woman who wasn't royal at all. Hadia Zen, an Emirati Uzbek woman whose name still circulates in quiet conversations but never in official statements. And here's where it gets even more unbelievable. Their relationship, according to insiders, wasn't a fleeting romance. It was love that lasted nearly 10 years. But in a world where royal bloodlines dictate the future of an entire dynasty, love alone wasn't enough. Sheikh Mohammed, Hamdan's father and the ruler of Dubai, is said to have strongly opposed the union. Know why? Because Hadia didn't come from royal lineage. In palace culture, that was considered a deal breaker. Sounds harsh, right? But this is the kind of tradition the Maktoum dynasty has followed for generations. Under immense pressure and palace expectations, Hamdan was allegedly forced to end the marriage, a decision many describe as the most painful moment of his life. And you might not expect this, but the separation wasn't just emotional, it was enforced. Hadia was reportedly not allowed to remain in Dubai, not allowed to see the children they shared, and was quietly sent away to avoid the slightest spark of scandal. Sheikh Mohammed is said to have offered millions to her family as part of a settlement, ensuring silence and distance. Hadia then moved to London, disappearing from public life almost entirely. But here's the part that pulls at the heart. Even after the separation, Hamdan didn't cut her out of his world, because behind the scenes, he reportedly bought her a mansion in the UK, a private sanctuary, a silent promise that she would never be completely erased from his life. Emotional verses hidden within his fossil works, carrying traces of a love he was forced to let go. Isn't it wild how the man the world sees as fearless and unstoppable still faced a battle he couldn't win inside his own palace? And it makes you think. In a family built on tradition, alliances, and dynasty, what happens when the heart chooses a path the crown cannot follow? And here's where it gets even more intriguing, because if you look closely at the online patterns, the silence doesn't stop there. Palace insiders often say that in Dubai's royal circles, every social media move is calculated, almost like a chess game. So when Princess Sheikh ignores anything involving the twins, people can't help but ask, can you believe it's happening so openly? Especially when the rest of the family subtly engages just enough to maintain appearances. This contrast becomes even louder when she consistently interacts with the posts of young Muhammad, and that's where the speculation takes off. Does this mean she's drawing a digital line in the sand? Sounds dramatic, right? But in a world where public image is everything, even a missing like becomes breaking news. What fascinates observers is how these tiny online gestures expose the tension between tradition and modern visibility. The Maktoum family remains deeply private, yet their curated Instagram presence invites endless decoding. And honestly, who wouldn't be curious? And this is exactly where the story takes a sharper turn, because behind all the polished palace optics lies the pressure of producing a pure heir. According to those familiar with the family dynamics, Muhammad wasn't just any child. He was reportedly conceived through IVF to ensure the right lineage. Can you believe how high stakes that sounds? And suddenly everything makes sense. The different Instagram treatment, the extra spotlight on Muhammad, the quiet distancing from the twins. It almost feels like two palace factions playing out their loyalties online, one subtle interaction at a time. And just when you think the family dynamics couldn't get more layered, another figure steps quietly into the picture. Dalia, Sheikh Hamdan's adopted daughter. She occupies a unique space in the household, almost like a reminder of how compassion and royal protocol can clash. Under Islamic and royal law, adopted children don't take the family name, don't receive titles, and aren't considered part of the succession line. Can you believe how sharply that divides public identity from private love? Because of this, Dalia remains mostly invisible in official circles, not neglected, but strategically low profile. And here's where things get even more intriguing. Princess Sheikh adopted her before marrying Hamdan, so Dalia technically stands outside every royal hierarchy that now matters inside the palace. Meanwhile, the succession chessboard keeps shifting. The twins, born before the official marriage, hover in a gray zone. Muhammad, the IVF child crafted to secure the pure lineage, sits firmly in the spotlight. And in the middle of all this, a family performing unity online while quietly navigating internal rivalries offline. It all makes you wonder, how much of royal life is love, and how much is the pressure of legacy? And while all these internal dynamics play out behind palace walls, the outside world is busy creating its own version of Sheikh Hamdan's life, one that's often completely detached from reality. Because the moment a woman appears next to him, even in the most innocent context, social media goes into full detective mode. Can you believe how quickly a simple photo turns into a full-blown marriage rumor? Take Rama Riyadh, for example. She's an Iranian singer, happily married to an Iraqi actor. Yet one snapshot with Hamdan had the internet convinced she was a secret wife. The same thing happened with Shamsa Al-Sharif, a Dubai entrepreneur and activist. One public appearance and suddenly she's labeled as wife number 2 in comment sections across TikTok and Instagram. But that's the thing, these women aren't spouses. They're acquaintances, public figures, or people who happen to be in the same frame. The online rumor mill doesn't care about accuracy as long as the story sounds juicy. And in a culture where royal women are shielded from public attention, misidentification becomes even easier. Know what the result is? A never-ending stream of myths that only add more layers to Hamdani's already enigmatic image. In the end, Sheikh Hamdan's story leaves us with more questions than answers. Who will truly inherit his legacy? The twins born from love? Or their heir crafted by tradition? His private battles echo the same storms his father and grandfather once weathered, proving that even royalty can't escape the weight of family expectations. And as Dubai's future quietly hangs in the balance, you have to wonder, will history repeat itself? Or will Hamdan finally break the cycle and choose heart over hierarchy? In the glittering world of Dubai royalty, is anything ever as perfect as it looks? Or are the real wars fought behind the palace gates? If you're ready to uncover the stories they never talk about, hit subscribe and tap like. Think of it as your VIP pass into the royal shadows.